कहाँ हुआ? मेरे बारे में इकोसिस्टम से क्या बात? नहीं सेपरेशन लॉ की स्टार्ट करना है We'll start with heredity today. Where is it? First exam when? 23rd. What is it? First exam is 23rd.
July, last week.
Starting when?
This is July 3rd.
Third week and fourth week.
Like processes and here.
Heredity भी है. This side is heredity day for the first exam. And you have, and then this one, MET, no?
Yes.
Portions for the first exam.
I think only the first exam.
Full chapter.
Full chapter.
Which is our school here. And Reliance. She's Reliance. She's Reliance. Reliance की portion बताया. Full chapter है.
Yeah, both the full
So now let us start with our environment. We are already done. That is a very short chapter. Let us start with the concept of heredity. You have the textbook, volume hai. All of you will take out your notebook. Now for this particular chapter, this chapter is full of understanding. You have to remember certain laws, certain terms. Concept समझ में आना चाहिए, then only you will be able to. Yes. So heredity that we talk about, what is meant by heredity and what is this entire chapter about? Now, heredity and the concept of heredity is, what is the meaning of this? This generally means the transmission. Heredity refers to the transmission of the characteristics from parents to offsprings. Now that I talk about the concept of heredity and I say the concept of heredity, what are we going to study here? We are going to study the inheritance. Inheritance means transmission. In other words, the passage, the transmission, the inheritance of characteristics from parents to the next generation, parents to the offsprings. Now, what is the meaning of that word characteristics? Let us try understanding. इसके पहले एक और word. The concept of heredity that we study, that is also a branch of biology known as genetics. What is genetics? It's a branch of science, branch of biology where we study about genes and its expression. So what is the concept of this? What is the meaning of this word genetics? What is genetics? It is the branch of science. It is the branch of science that deals with the study of genes, and nobody will talk now, huh? Fan, AC, pen, pencil, हो गया सब, all set. और क्या चाहिए अभी? AC is not on.
No, it's not working actually.
ये तो चल रहा है ना?
Like yesterday, test was doing something started.
तुम लोग प्रिपेयर नहीं होंगे टेस्ट के, वो केसी भी डर गया कि क्या लिखने वाला है। प्रिपेयर थे? क्या टेस्ट था कल? बायो एंड मैथ्स। बायो का कौन सा क्वेश्चन दिया था? हाँ, कैसा हुआ?
अच्छा है।
और आंसर से पूरा करेक्टली लिखा? नहीं दिया मां, क्यों?
मैथ्स के दिए पहले।
बायो का प्रिपरेशन नहीं हो पाया? कहाँ जाना था? 10th स्टैंडर्ड में कहीं नहीं जाना है, खाली पढ़ाई करना है। Decide?
Yes, yes.
क्या yes yes?
दिया कर दे।
हाँ कर दिया।
हाँ?
बायो पे तो
आके बस वही देख के गया।
एक भी टेस्ट मिस नहीं करना है। Appear for the test and टेस्ट के दिन में कोई लंच डिनर है तो उसको पोस्टपोन करके पहले टेस्ट देने के बाद जाओ ना। Don't miss your test. So that is one practice. No, you study and try answering. You get to know how much you are clear about the topics. This is a 10th standard class. अभी तो situation ऐसे है, don't mind. अभी situation ऐसे है, मैं अगर आके कुछ और भी subjects बोल के चली जाऊँ, then also you will not ask me any question. Seriously, कितने लोगों ने पढ़ाई start किया बता? Seriously तो क्यों टेस्ट नहीं दिया?
एक्चुअली तो 3 टेस्ट थे मैथ्स के, तो मम्मा पीछे पड़ी थी इसके, और फिर मम्मा बायो में भी पड़ी थी। तो क्या था, बायो में ना सब कुछ लर्निंग पार्ट था, मैथ्स में सॉल्व करना था, तो एक साथ नहीं था।
So ये मैनेजमेंट थोड़ा सा सीखना पड़ेगा. Learn how to manage different subjects, and I'm still not convinced that we have started studying seriously. किसी का कोई डाउट ही नहीं है. ऐसे तो हो ही नहीं सकता कि the entire chapter के आप understood every word, every concept, every reaction अच्छी तरह से समझ में आ गया. आया समझ में सबको? पक्का? आया? अगर आया तो बहुत अच्छी बात है. But check out, try. जैसे मैंने बोला है, the questions that are there in the volume, more than 50-60% questions for all the 4 parts we have done. But अभी भी बहुत सारे questions हैं that you should go through. And when you go into those questions, then definitely you will have एक दो doubts तो होना ही चाहिए. Okay. Now go back to this. We are talking about the difference between the word heredity and genetics. So what I said, heredity is actually a concept which talks about the passage, the inheritance, the transfer of the characteristics from one generation to the other. But what is genetics? It is a branch of science that deals with the study of genes and their expression. The study of genes and their expression. So that is what we are going to study, genetics. Now I start with this concept of characteristics here. The next concept that we try understanding is characteristics. What are characteristics? What is the arrangement of genes? What is gene? Now that I talked about this word genes, tell me. In the chapter on cell, 9th standard, we are studying cell, and we had come across the concept of genes. Let me now think of a cell. I talk about a cell here. This cell has got the nucleus. The nucleus has got some thread-like structures. This thread-like structure, the condensed thread-like structure, can be now considered as chromosome. So the condensed coiled thread-like structure can be considered as chromosome. So I now talk about a cell. I want to understand the relations of these words. So I am talking about a cell. I talk about the nucleus, and inside the nucleus there are a large number of thread-like structures. But these thread-like structures, when they are extensively coiled and condensed, they appear short, broad, prominent under the microscope. What do we term them as? Chromosomes. But now we want to understand that what is present inside the chromosome. What is present inside the chromosome? To understand what is present inside the chromosome, we get to know that the chromosome must be having a very long, extensively coiled ribbon-like structures, extensively long, coiled ribbon-like structures. And this entire ribbon-like structure that I am talking about is coiled. The word helical. What is the meaning of the word helical? I would say this is the DNA. And what are some of the features that always should be associated with the word DNA? It is helical, meaning it is wavy. It is not a straight linear structure. It is a wavy molecule. It is a complex molecule. So now that I talk about the DNA is known as a complex molecule, also known as a macromolecule. What is the meaning of a macromolecule? It is very complex, very big, very complex molecule. I said DNA is helical, DNA is a big complex molecule that we are talking about. What else? It is a complex molecule, fine. What else? It is made up of two strands. Can you see it has got two thread-like structures, and these two thread-like structures are actually connected by certain bonds. So the next concept that we are talking about, what is the DNA also consisting of? The DNA consists of two thread-like structures. What are those two thread-like structures known as? Strands. So we will say it is a double-stranded DNA. What is the meaning of double-stranded? Two threads. And these two threads are connected by certain bonds. What type of bonds? Hydrogen bonds, basically. So trying to understand that this extensively long, thin, coiled, thread-like structures which are present in the nucleus, what are they composed of? All these things basically we have studied in the 9th standard. What is the chemical composition of a chromosome DNA? What is the full form of DNA? Acid. The full form of DNA is deoxyribonucleic acid. It's a big complex molecule. So this is the DNA. We are more interested to talk about the DNA right now, not about the structure, function of the chromosome in fact. So this entire DNA that we talk about, the DNA which is flat, thin, ribbon-like, and extensively coiled and extensively helical, meaning wavy. What is so special about this entire structure? The special feature is, look into the entire DNA. We can say that the entire DNA as if is divided into certain segments like this. The entire DNA is as if divided into certain segments like this. And if checked and analyzed, it would be seen that every single segment is actually controlling certain character that we show. For example, I may talk about that one particular segment is responsible for the height maybe. Another specific segment is responsible for the eye color. Something like another specific segment is responsible for the hair color. So that means, now that I talk about the entire length of the DNA, the entire length of the DNA can be divided into small segments, and they are just randomly placed. They are just placed based on what type of a chemical composition they are made up of. So the entire DNA can be divided into such type of segments. What are these segments called? Genes. What is a gene controlling? Every single gene is controlling one particular characteristic that we exhibit, that we show. That can be in the form of our characteristics that can be exhibited externally. So right now I'm just mentioning some very common ones, that is certain genes regulating the height. There are certain genes which are regulating the eye color. There are certain genes which are regulating the hair texture. There are certain genes which will regulate the eye shape, the shape of the fingers, etc., etc., etc. At the same time, there will be certain genes. It is not only this way. I may also talk about certain genes which is actually responsible for the amount of the hemoglobin produced by the RBCs. There may be certain type of genes that we have in our body which is also regulating how much of the pepsin to be produced. Also, there are certain type of genes which regulates our behavior. Now, the word behavior is again divided into so many other examples to talk about. I'll just talk about one single general word. So, what am I understanding? Look into the DNA, the chemical composition of the chromosomes. This chemical composition of the chromosomes, and now talking about the single long ribbon-like structure that one chromosome may consist of, that one single chromosome, one single DNA may be divided into thousands of such segments. Each of those segments are responsible for a character. The word character here or the word characteristic here does not only refer to the external appearance that we exhibit, does not only refer to the eye shape and the nose shape and the skin color and the hair texture, no, but it also represents, it also exhibits how much of the enzyme, protein, pigment, etc. produced by our cells, and that also is responsible. It is the genes in our chromosome which is responsible for the behavior that we show. Are we tolerant? Are we patient? Or we are extremely short-tempered? Are we, each one of us, we are different in our behavioral aspect? I may talk about that two siblings, one may love to read a lot, the other one does not love reading, loves to play football a lot. So if we look into each one of our behaviors, each one of our likes and dislikes, very different. Why? When we talk about 2-3 siblings of the same parents, do they have the same likes and dislikes? No, they may be two siblings, may be absolutely different. Why? Because of the genes that they carry. So here the first thing to understand that it is the genes which regulates our behavior. It is the genes which regulate the type of the enzymes and the proteins that we produce in our body or the cells produce in our body. It is the genes which is responsible for our external characteristic. So now, what is the definition of the word genes to write? What is a gene? Define a gene. What should you write? It is the functional segment of the DNA, which is actually responsible for all these characteristics. So what do you write? Gene is the functional segment of the DNA. Why the word functional? Because yes, every specific segment is performing a specific function. The functional segment of DNA that encodes a protein, and regulates, a specific characteristic or a character. If you write character also, it is not wrong. So what did I write? What is a gene? A specific segment of the DNA which encodes a protein, meaning, what is the meaning of the word encode? Carries information. Encode matlab, which carries an information to give rise to a produce a protein, and that protein will be responsible for the skin color. Another protein will be responsible for the hair color, another protein, one particular enzyme, another protein this, etc., etc. So what is the definition of the word gene? The word gene always can be defined. A specific segment of the DNA which has the information, which carries the information for making a protein and regulating a characteristic. Now, when we talk about the chromosomes in our cells, now let us talk about the chromosomes that we have in our cells. This is one particular cell in our body. This is the nucleus. I would say the chromosomes which are there in our cell are always like this. The chromosomes which are there in our cell, are they as single chromosomes? No, they are not as single chromosomes. How are they? They are always in the form of pairs. So I may draw this chromosome this way also to be very specific and elaborate. But no, the easiest way of drawing a chromosome in a pair is something like this. Now that we are going to study genetics, we are going to represent a pair of chromosome like this. We are going to represent a pair of chromosomes something like this. Clear? Now I said in our cells, are you aware what is the number of chromosomes we have in our cells? कितने? 23 pairs. That is 46 chromosomes. We have got 23 pairs of chromosomes and always in the form of a pair. Talk about the cells of the skin and the bone and the muscle. Talk about the cells of the layers of the pancreas and the liver and the intestine. Any part of the body. Any part of in one cell. So in one cell, every part of the body except for the cells of the reproductive organs that we will say, that we will understand specifically. But when I'm saying that the cells of our body, what is the number of the chromosome? The cells of our body, whichever part of the body we talk about, cells of the body always has 23 pairs of chromosomes, that is 46. Now this chromosomes, why do we write in pairs? What is the reason that we always write chromosomes in pairs, or what is the reason we are saying that the chromosomes that we have in our cells are always paired? Reason क्या है? Reason ये है that one chromosome has been obtained from the mother, the other chromosome has been obtained from the father, and during the process of fertilization, the pair of chromosomes came together. So something like this, I would say that if I talk about the reproductive cells of the male and the female body, this is just for the reference I am talking about. Maybe now I talk about the male gamete and I talk about the female gamete and the process of fertilization resulting in the formation of zygote, and this zygote which is obtained after the process of fertilization, this will always give rise to a cell where 23 chromosomes and 23 chromosomes come together, form a pair. So ये तो एक basic general rule है. Whenever I talk about that, why, how come the cells that we have in our body has got 46 chromosomes every time? Because when we were getting formed, when we were in the zygote stage, after the process of fertilization, what was the situation? In our cells, in the zygote from where we have developed, in the zygote, the chromosomes 23 from the father, 23 from the mother came together and they formed pairs. They formed pairs. But the question is, I'm talking about 23 pairs. Can I say that the pairing of the chromosome is just at random or it is very specific? The pairing of the chromosome is very, very specific. Possible that I tell you now that yes, sometimes 3 and 4, the third and the fourth chromosome will form a pair, and sometimes the 6th and 6th, and sometimes the 7th and 8th also can form a pair. Can I ever tell you this, or is this ever true? No, the 7th and the 8th will never form a pair. The 3rd and the 4th will never form a pair. The 11th and the 9th will never form a pair. The 20th and the 17th will never form a pair. The 20th and 20th only will form a pair. The 7th chromosome from the mother, the 7th from the father will only form a pair. The 9th from the mother, the 9th from the father will only form a pair in the cell, in the zygote. So no, this type of pairing never happens. This type of pairing never happens. But what is the reason? Why am I saying that 6th and 8th का भी pair बन ही नहीं सकता है? Because of the sequence of the genes that it will carry. Sequence of genes. Now I say that 3rd and 4th pair नहीं बन सकता. But why? Because in the 3rd and 4th, when I say the 3rd has got gene something like this, the 3rd has got, say suppose I write in letters, the 3rd has got gene something like this, and then the 3rd has got gene something like this way. we understand that the sequence of the genes in the third and the fourth are absolutely different. But what about the sixth and the sixth that I have written? If I write the sixth and the sixth, why did they form a pair? They formed a pair because it is A and it is B and it is C. So the gene sequences are the same. That's why the sixth and the sixth formed a pair. So in reality, is this type of pairing possible or this type of pairing possible? No, this type of pairing not possible. Are you understanding what I'm speaking right now? How are the pairs of chromosomes formed? What is the reason that the ninth and the ninth form a pair, 10th and the 10th form a pair? Your answer straight away is based on the gene sequences. Since the gene sequences of the mother's chromosome is the same as the father's chromosome, that's the reason they will always form a pair. Correct? So the first thing that I say, how many chromosomes in the human cells, in the nucleus of the human cell? 46. But these 46 chromosomes are never a single chromosomes, always paired. Why paired? Because 23 comes from the father and another 23 from the mother. And the third and the third will form a pair, the fifth and the fifth will form a pair, the 16th and the 16th will form a pair. Q, what is the reason? Because of the common gene sequences that they have. Because of the common gene sequences that they have, the pairing of the genes. Okay, so that's the first part. Now let us try understanding so many aspects one after the other. Now I say, let us try to understand the arrangement of these genes, and we are saying that genes are regulating character. So how can we understand this concept? Let us take a very simple example. You'll be able to relate with this example. The eye color in human. What is the most common eye color in human, you feel?
Blackish brown.
Huh?
Blackish
Brown. Deep brown. Very dark brown, that is. Followed by black. Followed by like blue.
But blue and green are very rare.
No, green is very rare. Blue is not very rare. When we are talking about our geographical region, in our, what happened? Blue eyed person, did you see or not? Dekha? When we talk about blue eye color, in our geographical region, it is comparatively less. Yes, that is true. But blue eye color, generally we come across people of foreign, cold countries. Yes, cold countries, generally. So, yes, the secretion, because eye color that now we are going to talk about is nothing but a particular type of a protein, a particular type of a pigment. Does environment also play a role little bit? So that's the reason we always come across people of cold countries. You will always come across, even in the northern part of our country. Even in the northern part of our country, you will come across maybe 2 individuals out of 10 or 1 individual out of 10 will definitely have a blue color.
Because of the
Environmental conditions. But if I talk about the hot regions, the hot states, maybe not even a single individual out of 20 you will come across blue color. Mostly we all are brown or black.
What about green?
Green is a mutant eye color. Mutant का मतलब एक defective eye color है. Though it looks very beautiful, nice, but blue is not, green is not considered as a regular normal eye color नहीं है. So what are the 3 normal eye colors in human? 3 regular normal eye colors in human है brown, black and blue. Okay.
also quite a few people have gray eye.
Many other colors. Red है, hazel है, cat's eye है, and some will have some mixed eye colors also. But these are all because of some errors in the gene that they have inherited from their parents. उसको mutation बोला जाता है. Mutant eye color बोलते हैं. That is not the regular. Good morning. इसको क्या हो गया? What happened? Tired? Huh? नींद आएगी तो कैसे समझोगे? You have to wash your face and come. After you come back from home, घर आने के बाद you have your shower, have your lunch. After that, take a short nap. या उसके बाद क्या लेते हो? After you go back from school, most of you must be again sitting down with your best friend. No? No? मैं सच बोल रही हूँ कि झूठ बोल रही हूँ?
Yes.
हाँ? No?
I come at 3:45
From
school. So I go back.
for your best friend. Nice, बहुत अच्छा.
School भी जाता हूँ.
हाँ, अभी तो तुम्हारा स्कूल भी अजीब है. Now they are giving holiday. So now that you are in the tent, when you come here, before that at least half an hour, full mental rest you need. Give rest to your brain. Take a short nap, half an hour ka ek short nap लो, as much possible, how much time you have, and then you come fresh, so that whatever is taught you understand. So now, when we are talking about the concept of genes, what are we learning now? We are coming across, I say, 2 or 3 concepts I taught you right now. I say, what is the relation between the word chromosome and DNA? I told you what is the relation. Chromosomes are composed of DNA. DNA is the chemical composition of chromosome. Talking about the DNA, what are some of the features to remember? DNA is a big complex molecule, can be divided into small sections. What are those sections known as? Genes. Every single gene is responsible for one particular characteristic. That can be the shape, size, color, pigment, protein, and also the behavior. So all these things are genetic, remember? All these things are genetic. Now the next concept that I explained to you, how are the chromosomes arranged in our cells? Chromosomes are always in pairs. What is the reason? A concept. The sequence of the genes is a reason why chromosomes always has to be in pair. So now we try to understand a relation between how is a gene controlling a character, or what is the relation between them. There are so many examples like this to talk about. Let us now pick just one example to understand the concept. So now that we are studying genetics, every time we may not be drawing the chromosomes this way. How are these pairs of chromosomes always represented? In the form of a pair of sticks. How? In the form of a pair of sticks is the same. So this is a pair of chromosome. Let us assume this is a pair of chromosome. This is the third chromosome of the father, and this is the third chromosome of the mother. So this is the third chromosome of the father. This is the third chromosome of the mother. We will use the word maternal and paternal. These are typical words. We don't use mother's chromosome, father's chromosome. We use maternal and paternal chromosome. What is the meaning of paternal? Father's chromosome, mother's chromosome. Now let us try understanding in a pair of chromosome, how are the genes arranged? And we were talking about, we will pick one example. Let us talk about eye color. Now, how are the genes arranged? So I say in the previous diagram with the DNA, what did I show? I showed you that this segment of the DNA, according to this diagram, I say that this is the entire pair of chromosome, and this segment I consider as the gene, a small segment of the DNA, and this is known as the gene. Now that the gene that we understand, the entire region is known as the gene, and it is responsible to control, or it is responsible for one specific feature, that is the eye color. But when I look into this chromosome and this chromosome, the form of the gene is not the same. Meaning I am talking about the eye color. What is eye color? It is a character. I talk about this example eye color, but this eye color, I'm saying that this eye color is present in variable forms in the human population. So what is the form in the human population? Brown, and then black, and then blue. So what are the other? We are only talking about the normal eye colors now, not talking about, I had used one word, the mutant, meaning the defective eye colors we are not talking about. Though a small fraction of human population has that eye color, but right now we are not talking about that. So I'm saying that there is a particular gene which is regulating the eye color. Let us name that gene. There is a particular gene which is regulating the eye color. So I will say the gene which is regulating the eye color, let us consider that as capital B. And what about the forms? Brown hair, black hair, blue hair. So this capital B, which is a gene, is present in different forms. So how will I write? The most common ones, I use the same letter. Less common ones, I use this letter. And the least common ones, we write this letter. What are these? Why are we using all these letters? That is the format of writing. That is the way of writing genes. So I'm saying that this is a pair of chromosome. I am trying to study only one gene right now. And I know that this particular segment of the pair of chromosome can control the eye color. But look into the forms of the gene. The forms of the gene, in one chromosome there is capital B, and in the other chromosome there is small b. Is it possible in an individual? Yes, it is possible. So first try to understand, I'm talking about a pair of chromosome. I try to understand one specific region of the chromosome. What is that one specific region called? Gene. And what will that gene regulate? One character only I have to think. Eye color. Is it possible? This gene sometimes will regulate eye color and sometimes hair color? No, only eye color. One gene, one character. That's a rule. One gene, one character. I cannot explain you right now that no, this gene at times, if the weather condition is this and if this is this temperature, then this gene sometimes can regulate the skin color also. No, there's a separate gene for the skin color. There's a separate gene for the hair color. There's a separate gene for other different pigments like hemoglobin and bilirubin, etc. This gene that I am talking about is only for the eye color, nothing else. So how do we designate genes? Always with the help of letters or numbers. How are genes designated, written? How do we write? Always with the help of either numbers or letters. So now, let us try understanding. First, you take a note of this. What I have written? I have written in the human population, the three most common eye colors are brown, black, blue, and uske liye jo form of genes hai, that is B and BL and small b. Now, certain things more to understand. Let us now talk about the pair of chromosomes of certain individuals and try understanding why certain individuals have brown, how come an individual will have black, under what condition a person will have blue. So that is what to understand. Let me talk about the pair of chromosomes of some individuals. This is one. This is the other. 1 and then 2 and then 3 and then 4 and 5. I talk about 5 individuals. Ye kya hai? I'm just trying to understand the pair of chromosomes of 5 individuals. But I'm only trying to study just one gene right now. Gene for eye color. Nothing else. Right now, I want to study only one gene. This is the region that I'm marking. In this particular region, I see in this gene, what am I understanding? Which pair of chromosome I am studying? Maybe the third pair for all these individuals. For individual A, the arrangement of the gene is this way and this way. For the second individual, wahi gene for eye color I am studying, but I get to see that the arrangement of the gene is different now here. Arrangement of the gene is different. What about this? In this condition, in this condition, again, when I talk about the gene here, I get to see that the arrangement of the gene यहाँ पे अलग है. I'm talking about individual A and then B and then C. Let us look into some one or two more conditions so you understand very good. The fourth individual has got a arrangement this way, and the fifth individual has got an arrangement this way. Okay, the fifth individual has got an arrangement this way. Now let us try to understand. I am talking about 5 individuals trying to find out what about their third chromosome, and only one gene trying to understand, and I get to see that वो जो third chromosome है for 5 individuals that I am studying, किसी की भी arrangement of genes for that character is not the same. First of all, these genes that we are we writing this B and BL and small b forms of genes? Yes, these are the forms of genes. So if this is known as a character, what is this known as? This is known as a character. Then what are these known as? The forms of a character. What are the forms of a character known as? Traits. Eye color is a character. उसके जो variable forms होंगे, उसको बोलेंगे traits. Hair texture is a character. उसके जो variable forms है, very curly, wavy, smooth, straight, उसके जो variable forms है, उसको बोलेंगे traits. Flower petals है, color of the flower petal is a character. But उसके जो variable forms होंगे, that is orange and red, and pink and yellow, उसके जो variable forms है, उसको बोलेंगे traits. So I am saying that this character is controlled by a gene. This is the way we write a gene. Then how will these traits be? These traits will be controlled by the variable forms of a gene. What are the variable forms of a gene known as? The variable forms of a gene are known as alleles. Matlab, gene is always associated with the word character, and alleles are always associated with the word traits. Then what is the meaning of an allele? The variable forms of a gene. 1, 2, 3. This is the typical form of a gene जिसके different types भी है. And the different types of a gene are known as alleles. This is a character जिसके different types है. Character के different types को बोलेंगे traits. Is this clear? Tell me. आया समझ में? So a gene regulates a character. Since in the human population एक character के बहुत सारे forms हैं, so it is definite to understand that this gene जो है, this gene का भी तो different forms होना चाहिए. That's the simple understanding. अगर human population में eye color would have been only brown, then we understand this gene is present in one form only. But ऐसा तो नहीं है. Human population में, just now I have mentioned twice, thrice, human population में eye color is in 3 major forms. So definitely this composition should also be in 3 different forms. तभी तो जाके कभी brown, कभी black, कभी blue express हो सकता है in human individuals. Understanding?
Below C and E both are same, right?
कौन सा C and E? C, correct. So let me give you one more combination. Let us take this. Okay. Now, if there are different type of combination that we come across in human population when we check their chromosomes. So right now I am trying to put forward 5 different combinations in front of you, and let us try understanding under this situation what should be the eye color of the individual. For example, let us try with the first one. In this type of a combination, meaning what are these known as capital B and capital B? When they are together, these are the two. This is one form of a gene. This is one form of a gene. What is the word we use for form of a gene? Allele. Allele. So I would say this is an individual where for this gene alleles are same. Yes or no? Alleles are same, no? Identical alleles in both the chromosome. If the alleles are identical in both the chromosome, this type of a condition is known as homozygous condition. When the alleles are the same. Let us talk about this. यहाँ पे allele same है.
Different types of genes are alleles, right?
Different types of genes are alleles. Alternate forms of a gene are allele. Alternate forms of a character are traits. What is the definition? Traits are alternate forms of a character. Alleles are alternate forms of a gene. Clear hai? So now that I talk about, okay, abhi dekho. Now that I'm talking about this condition, tell me, is the condition for A and B the same? This is one allele, this is another allele for eye color. Same hai alleles in both the chromosome? No, the alleles are different. If the alleles are different, this condition is known as the heterozygous condition. So I'm talking about two words. Homozygous क्या है? When you look into the pair of chromosome and दोनों chromosome में alleles are identical. Whatever be the allele, I may talk about this or this. अगर allele same है on both the chromosome, it is a homozygous condition. Allele अगर अलग है in the chromosome, then this is a heterozygous condition. ये clear है? Okay. If this is clear, then you tell me. What about this? Is this a homozygous or heterozygous? Heterozygous. What about this one? And what about this? Homozygous. So the rest three that I have written combinations are different. I'm talking about different alleles at a time. But all the rest three are homozygous conditions. But again, there is a difference. Look into this and look into this. There's a difference, no? When I talk about these two conditions, I'm saying here I'm writing capital B, and why am I writing small b now here? Because in the human population, or in case of animals, when we come across, or in case of plants, when we come across certain alleles which are more dominant. Certain alleles which are more dominant. What is the meaning of dominant here? Dominant here means which is able to express more powerful, correct? A particular type of a chemical composition which is more powerful and constantly able to express. Ab dekho, this type of a combination, if I talk about, this type of a combination is able to express only when it is on its own. Okay, let me give you this type of a combination. What should happen? If I talk about a combination something like this, I am talking about a combination something like this. I understand that here, this is a homozygous, this again is a heterozygous condition. But here I am saying that I am writing small letters, lowercase alphabets, because this type of allele is less powerful or least powerful, and these are known as the recessive alleles. This is a recessive allele. What about this? This is a dominant allele. So in a sequence of alleles always, now I have picked up a very simple example, eye color, जिसमें तीन ही most common traits है. If I would have picked up the example of the hair texture and the skin color, जिसमें traits और भी ज़्यादा है, 16-18 traits है, 27-29 traits है for one. I talk about skin color के almost 27-29 traits है. So understanding is difficult, so I choose a simple example. Now again, come to this condition. I'm saying if the alleles are same, homozygous condition. What should be the eye color of this individual? Let us try understanding. Eye color of this individual was found to be brown. Very easy, no, to understand this. Definitely, because capital B, always we say capital B is responsible for the brownness. Capital B is responsible for the brown color. So for this individual, both the chromosomes have capital B. Definitely the eye color will be brown. Let us go to the second. What should be the brown color of this what should be the eye color of this individual? For this also it is found that it is brown. क्यों? इसमें तो दूसरा allele भी था. In the other chromosome, this individual was having the other allele also. Then why did this allele not express? Because this allele is less powerful than this. So there is always a sequence of dominance which is also quite like maths, demarcated this way. Maths के जैसे ascending and descending orders रहता है ना, exactly same like this. For this pair of alleles, there is always a sequence of dominance and there is always a sequence of recessiveness. So when I talk about 1, 2, 3, सबसे dominant क्या है? This one. उसके बाद ये and उसके बाद ये. मतलब how is it understood? How is it judged? Expression wise, this is most common. उसके बाद ये and least common in human population. So if that is the rule, then what should be the eye color of this individual? जिसमें one chromosome has this, one chromosome has this. Definitely this will express. This allele will not express now. Why? Because compared to this is recessive. Are you following? When this and this is together, this is less powerful. A less powerful allele is always known as a recessive allele. Come to the third now. Tell me, what should the eye color, based on this rule only, what should the eye color be? This is BL and this is small b. Black hoga. So the eye color will be black. And what is the condition of the pair of alleles? Heterozygous. This is heterozygous. What about this side? Fourth, blue. See here, when this allele was there with the other one, this did not express. No? When this was present with this, now it did not express. But now that both the chromosomes have the same, now it is expressing. So I would say this is a homozygous condition. This is a homozygous condition. What is the color? The color is blue. What about this side? Brown. What is the reason that it is brown?
Brown is
because the brown color is dominant over the blue color. And what is the condition looking into the arrangement of the alleles? What is it? A heterozygous condition. So what are the words we are talking about? What is meant by a heterozygous condition? You should know. What is a homozygous condition? You should know. The definitions, let us try to frame. What is a homozygous condition? A pair of alleles in a chromosome when they are identical or similar. These are the two words which should be always used. A homozygous condition always refers to a condition of alleles which are similar or identical. Then what is heterozygous? A condition in which the alleles, am I talking about two alleles only for one gene? What is this segment we are trying to understand? This is a gene. In a pair of chromosome, how many alleles can we write for a gene? In a pair of alleles, in a pair of chromosomes, how many alleles for a gene we can write? 2. But this gene has got 3 alleles. Can we write all 3 together in a pair of chromosome? No, because दो क्रोमोसोम में दो ही स्पेसिफिक लोकेशन है जहां पे हम एलील लिख सकते हैं. So what is the specific location of a chromosome known as? The specific location where the allele is present in a chromosome, उसको बोलेंगे locus. Clear? So what is a homozygous? What is a heterozygous condition? Let us define them now. Write down the definitions. Heterozygous and homozygous. Let us write down the definitions first. A dominant and a recessive allele. We have to know the definitions. Why AC fan all off? Put on that. Speed थोड़ा कम कर दो अगर चाहिए तो. Now let us write down the definitions. Homozygous. What are we talking about? Homozygous and heterozygous. What are these? These are alleles. Homozygous alleles. Heterozygous alleles. Let us write down. Homozygous condition. What is the meaning? Homozygous condition means what?
Identical.
Homozygous condition. Let us write a pair of chromosome in which the alleles for a gene, a pair of chromosome in which the alleles for a gene are similar or identical. Understanding, right? So you get clear with the concept. What is meant by homozygous condition? A pair of chromosome in which alleles are identical for a gene. Clear here? Go to the next one. Heterozygous. Same format में definition लिखो. I say a pair of chromosome in which the alleles are dissimilar or non-identical. Dissimilar, similar for homozygous लिखेंगे, heterozygous के लिए हमेशा dissimilar लिखा जाता है, and identical लिखेंगे तो non-identical. So alleles are dissimilar for a gene. Alleles are similar, alleles are dissimilar. Clear है? Alleles are similar. ये एक example यहाँ पे draw करके रखो. Now that you have written down the definition, later in another 1 month time you will absolutely forget this concept. Draw करो exactly how I have drawn. For a heterozygous condition, draw this. For a homozygous condition, draw this. Simple pencil draw करके रखो. Simple small diagram. So you understand what is the meaning of homozygous condition? Homozygous condition means when the pair of alleles are identical for a gene, and what is a heterozygous condition? When the pair of alleles are dissimilar for a gene. Dissimilar, non-identical for a gene. We'll just complete with this. Dominant and recessive. We were talking about this. यहाँ पे when I talk about this is dominant. When I talk about this, this is recessive. Now look into the allele for brownness. Just look into the figure. That's it. Look into the allele for brownness. Check here. Brownness when it is along with the other allele. Here the color is brown, but this is also brown and this is also brown. So I would say the allele for brownness expresses when it is in the homozygous condition as well as in the heterozygous condition. Yes or no? And that is the reason any dominant allele, why it is more in the population, क्योंकि a number of individuals will be having the pair of alleles like this, then also the color is brown. A number of individuals will be having the color brown because this is the expression, this may be expressed. Now that I talk about all of us, if we happen to check our eye color, we will find majority of us will be having the brown color. So if you're almost 10 of us, we will come across maybe 5 or 6 will have the brown eye color. Blue nahi hai. The rest is all black. So proportion of brown is always more. What is the reason? Let us complete with this definition. Dominant and recessive allele. Dominant allele. How should you define dominant allele? An allele which expresses dominant allele. An allele which expresses both dominant allele and allele which expresses both in the homozygous and an allele which expresses both in the homozygous and heterozygous conditions. An allele which expresses both in the homozygous and heterozygous conditions. Others next recessive allele. Recessive allele. Does a recessive allele express in a heterozygous condition? Check. See, this is a heterozygous situation, no? This is a heterozygous condition. ये heterozygous condition है. इसमें recessive allele express हो रहा है. कभी होगा. Possibility है. कभी भी नहीं. That is the reason the recessive allele number is less in a population. तो कभी express होगा only when it is in a homozygous condition तभी. Let us write recessive allele, an allele which expresses only in a homozygous recessive we are writing a recessive allele expresses only in a homozygous condition. Recessive variant will never express in a heterozygous condition. Okay? Take a break, we'll continue.
Sorry.